En Found, una mujer dedicada a encontrar personas desaparecidas enfrenta a su propio secuestrador de la infancia. Conversé con Mark-Paul Gosselaar, quien interpreta al villano de la serie y además dirigió uno de los episodios. The episode that you directed is one of a kind. What can you tell us about it, about the experience?
Working on this was amazing and fantastic actors and fantastic crew. And when you need to tell a story and you have a very specific amount of time to tell it in, that could be the challenge, especially given how complex our scripts are. But at the end of the day, you are given a great script and you have amazing people working behind you, and you have two fantastic actors who have to take the uh, the majority of the work and tell the story, and then you have all your other actors working behind you. I had a dream, a dream crew behind me.
That's amazing. It's like a well-oiled machine that you have there.
We really do. We have fantastic in every department. And it has to be that way. And it's a testament to the people that our showrunner has given us. But it has to be because we have so much work to do on a day-to-day basis. It has to be a well-oiled machine, otherwise we'd fall apart, and we just don't have the time.
Yes. Marco, uh, playing a character that can be hated while you've been loved for some other characters, was it hard for you to make the decision, or this is something that you wanted to do so bad to play a villain that everybody's gonna hate?
When I read the first script, the pilot, I never thought of him as a villain. I just thought of him as a backstory to the character. And you have your opinions of the type of person he is, but I never thought of playing him, as a dark character. I never thought of it that way. I just thought it was a challenge. It was a character who was going to just be a challenge to play. And the scenes that he does are dark and despicable and gross at times. But I never there wasn't a conscious decision to play it a certain way or to play a dark character or a bad person.
Of course. What about him, his personality? How can you describe it?
His personality is controlling. He is a very intellectual, smart person. But he also, I think he lives in fantasy. He lives within the literature that he reads. He's a huge fan of, obviously, literature and Shakespeare and some of the great authors. And I think he just lives in those worlds. That he reads. It's a fantasy that he's living in.
Have you participated in the writings room or making something up that for the show, or would you like to in this
No,
case?
no, and no, no, and no. This isn't the show that I would ever offer anything. I think the best thing that I can do is offer my uh, visual, or with directing. I mean, it's like, when you direct something, you're giving something, and then you're there to enhance it and to make sure that what you were given, you can put it on screen visually. And the emotions, those are things that are really important for our show. And if you can hit those beats, uh, that's your job. So I'm totally fine either being an actor on the show or being a director on the show, but there's no way that I could that I'd want to write or give them anything, because they're doing such a fantastic job. We have some really sick individuals on our writing staff, as you can see, for them to write some of this stuff. I always say, like, I'm playing this person, but you created this.
Yes, of course. And you've been given a soul to him because it has so many colors in his moods. Every time he goes, he's like moved by something. But then in this, especially in this episode that you directed, I feel like he ha everything happens through his mind, his concern, and but also he is manipulating the things to get his will, right?
Yeah, yeah, and that's the challenge of playing the character, and something that that continues to drive me, and why I find playing this character so much. I mean, in one word, it's just fun. I'm having so much fun playing, Sir.
Yeah, yeah, because it's very complex.
Yeah, it is, and but it's all there. It's all on the page. I again, I take as an actor, I'm taking what they give me, and
Hmm.
then my biggest concern is, am I giving them enough? Am I giving them what they wrote? Um, so yeah, I'm very fortunate.
Is there any lesson that you learned through the years of working? You've been working for 3 decades in television with different showrunners and directors. Is there something that you k- keep remembering while you are directing from those experiences?
One thing that I always go back to is that this is a collaborative process, and knowing that when you have the talent behind you, that you can rely on them and then you can trust them. And there's no different with this particular project. We have such great people working on this show that you have to rely on them. And through that process, you make some great television.
Yeah. Is there any influence for you as a director there that someone that you look up to?
And in my past, I've looked up to people that I've worked with. I really, one person that was very instrumental in sort of how I run a set when I'm a director was Mark Tinker, executive producer. Anyway, he was on NYPD Blue, and so the way that he directed is, I take a lot from him. I've taken a lot from a director that I looked up to on Franklin and Bash named Jason Ensler. But there's been lots of directors that I've worked with that I take things from them.
Is there anything distinctive, visual or narrative element that you incorporated? You said that you respect the work of the writers, but what is from you? What can that is reflected there in your vision as a director?
I think my vision that I always bring to things is I love to keep things moving. I don't want to be static too long. I love for things to be messy and dirty in a scene as well with the camera. And I think that goes back to my days on NYPD Blue, where we would have three cameras rolling at all times, and the cameras would you just never knew when you were on, and the cameras would be looking through things, and it felt very real. I love textures and depth and things, not only from the performances, but also visually. I like to have these things. So I'm constantly looking for that when we're on set.
Marple, what if you had to ask yourself something for yourself from the past, or you can give yourself from the past any advice about what is your career right now, what you have done all these years? What would you say to that young boy that is starting on TV?
Maybe I would just say that you don't like, well, let me think of how I would word that. But basically that take take more chances. I think at a certain point when you're young, you think that everything you do has so much gravity to it. And then when you get older, you realize, oh, it wasn't as heavy as I thought it was. And so I would probably say to my younger self to have taken more chances, and to not be afraid to fail.
Is that what you do now? You are not afraid of
No,
to
no,
fail?
I can't do that anymore. I have too much responsibility now. I have kids and and a family and things. So no, but before then, when you're in your 20s and your teens and things like that, you have much more control and resiliency than you think you have. And life is long, so you can always bounce back and reinvent yourself and not have to worry.
That's it. That's it. Thank you so much, Mark-Paul. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.